Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh. My name is Insyirah Natasha Binti Mohd Sayuti. My matrix number 2023156845. And I'm going to be presenting the concept of Tahwid in Islamic of the Malay world. Firstly, the introduction. Before the coming of Islam, Malay society's professions animism. This situation totally switched and transformed after the advent of Islam that brought the concept of Tahwid, and this situation have shifted and dismissed the concept of polytheism. Starting with the concept of the oneness of God and the worship of Islam has fascinated while interested in the local community and different field, especially in visual art approach. Therefore, the research is to identify the concept of Tahwid, the oneness of Allah, through Islamic art in the Malay world. Furthermore, Islamic art doesn't belong to a single phase, era, location, or media. Rather, Islamic art covers a variety of artistic mediums, including as calligraphy, textile, painting, ceramics, book carving, and architecture. Animism was used by Malay societies before the introduction of Islam. After the development of Islam and the development of the concept of Tahwid, these conditions completely changed, rejecting the idea of paganism, starting with the idea that God is one of that Islam worship has attracted people's curiosity greatly in the neighborhood. In other fields, especially with approaches to visual art, the idea of the paper, in addition to its sustainable techniques and discovering, is philosophical and intellectual. The literal meanings of Tahwid, oneness of Allah, and describing Him as being by unique, no partner or peer in His essence. Holy Quran clarify the word of unification of Allah. Almighty is Wahad and Wahid, which mean oneness of Allah. It is the belief that Allah is one, there is no partner and no peer in this essence, attribute, sanctity, and in worship. It may be defined as believing that Allah is one with no partner in His Lordship, Buboyiyah, divinity, uluhiyah, and attributes al-asma wa al-sifat. So firstly is calligraphy. Islamic calligraphy is the artistic practice of handwriting based on calligraphy, based upon the alphabet in the line sharing a common Islamic cultural heritage. It includes Arabic calligraphy, Ottoman, Persian calligraphy. The development of Islamic calligraphy is strongly tied to the Quran. Chapters and the essays from the Quran are a common and almost universal text upon which Islamic calligraphy is based. However, Islamic calligraphy is not limited to strictly religious subjects, objects, or space. Like all Islamic art, it encompasses a diverse array of work created in a wide variety of contexts. The prevalence of calligraphy in Islamic art is not directly related to its non-figure tradition. Rather, it reflects the centrality of the notion of writing and written text in Islam. It is noteworthy, for instance, that Prophet Muhammad is related to have said the first thing God created was the pen. The concept of Tahwid base is spiritual reflection. Tahwid, a concept in Islamic art, frequently includes spiritual and philosophical elements. This can teach the value of spiritual through unity in daily life. It highlights the need of integrating spirituality into one across, as well as finding meaning and purpose in one's creative and daily activities. So here is the examples of calligraphy. So they are Kufic and Nask. So first one is Kufic. Kufic is the oldest form of the Arabic script. The style emphasizes rigid and angular strokes, which appears as a modified form of the old Nabatean script. The style later developed into several varieties, including floral, voleated, plated, or interlaced, and bordered, and also square Kufic. And the second one is Nask. The use of cursive script coexists with Kufic, and historically cursive was commonly used for informal purpose. Nask translates to copying, as it became the standard for transcribing books and manuscripts. The script is the most ubiquitous among the other styles, used in Qurans, official liturgies, and private correspondence. it became the basis of modern Arabic print. The second one is textile. The concept of Tahwid, which means oneness in Arabic, forms the basis of Muslim belief in overall unity and is rightly referenced to Islamic art. Malay textile such as kain sarung is a piece of white cloth that is sewn or joined at the both sides of the sarung. Artists often inspired by the natural world, featuring flowers, leaves, animals, or other elements of the environment. This design celebrates the beauty of nature and to oneness and unity to symbolize toward contemplation to the one God is Allah. However, kain sarung is one of the means of cultural identity in Malaysia. It highlights the value of saving and remembering one cultural heritage. This teach us the importance of cultural preservation and the beauty of the varied cultural manifestations. Tahwid is a term given to this idea, the Al-Shahadah proclamation, which claims that there is only one God, Allah, the ultimate and absolute ability, who is transcendent, and it described in another example how the Islamic idea of Tahwid is expressed. For example, kain sarung. Kain sarung is a huge piece of fabric that is commonly worn around the waist. It is also used to make shawls, dodoi cradles, dresses, and shirts, as well as the other type of clothes. The fabric is frequently woven with plaid or checkered patterns, or it may be brightly colored using batik or ikat coloring techniques. Printed designs are common on modern sarungs, and they frequently depict animals or flora through the symbolism of geometric shapes in the artwork. The concept of Tahwid is used to express oneness and unity towards contemplation to the one God of Allah. The second one is sangket. Sangket is well known for its elaborate and ornate designs. The designs and patterns differ from place to place and frequently have symbolic or cultural meaning. It is renowned for its elaborate and detailed design, many of which are made with gold or silver threads to give it a unique, luxurious look. Floral patterns, animal geometric shapes, and metallurgical characters are examples of the concept of Tahwid. And lastly is the other fabrics such as batik and ikat contains the concept of Tahwid. These fabrics may have geometric design and geometric patterns that represent our oneness and unity. Based on textile, I have choose one of the artists such as Ponirin Amin, a famous Malaysian artist in printmaking, through his artwork Yasin in 1989. The artist is sensitive and aware with the Godhead issues. Clearly in his artwork, he is strive to give the awareness to the people, especially the Muslim, under the holy book of Quran. As human one day will return to our Creator, such as death. Next is Indonesian artist A.D. Pires mentioned that human life is divided into three stages. The first one is birth, the life, and the last is the death. The concept of geometric pattern is much close with the concept of Malay and Islamic art. For instance, the form of geometric patterns is arranged in harmonious composition to relate with the rhythm of decay from in abstract expression. The geometric shape represents Tahwid concept, the oneness of God, and unity through the cubic shapes, the image of Kaabah, Holy Kaabah. So this is the example. The third one is Islamic architecture in the Malay world. Based on the impact of the Islamic Tahwid concept and Malaysia civilization architecture differ from the previous definition of the Western architecture by the West. As it can be seen, the Islamic architecture is based on religion of Islam. Islam does not physically change the architecture of the Malay world in drastic forms. The belief in oneness of God Allah as fundamental and Islam as way of life affects mostly the planning layout of homes as well as detailed decorations such as mosques, for instance, are the long-standing object of the Malay idea of Tahwid. the perception of Islamic architecture has recounted the fundamental of what Islam as a way of life is to something still and physical. In the Malay world, the idea of Tahwid is fundamental to a country's progress. For instance, Malaysian buildings uphold the oneness principle by serving as common symbols for Islamic art, aesthetics in mosques, institutions, landscape, homes, and other buildings. So, the example of Islamic architecture in the Malay world. First is geometric patterns. Mosques in the Malay world frankly combine Islamic and unique architectural traditions. For example, the Crystal Mosque in Terengganu is a well-known example. It has a magnificent crystal dome, a notable characteristic of Islamic architecture as well as traditional Islamic architecture components. Next is palace and royal buildings. In the Malay world, palace and royal buildings incorporate Islamic architecture elements by retaining traditional Malay design, such as the Istana Negara, National Palace in Kuala Lumpur, Malaysia. It features Islamic arches and domes, but also showcases Malay craftsmanship in its woven and carving that represent the concept of Tahwid. And lastly, Islamic schools such as universities and madrasas. In the Malay world, Islamic educational institutions are frequently created with Islamic architecture characteristics. These structures may have intricate calligraphy, geometric patterns, and domes. So let's go to the next slide. And lastly, wood carving. In wood carving, the term Tahwid refers to the technique of sculpting elaborate and decorative wooden panels or screens, which are frequently used in traditional Malay interior design as well as building. In this context, Tahwid refers to the process of creating coherence and balance to the planning and production of wood carving. However, the motifs of the carving back in the day, calligraphy, Arabicus, motif, geometric patterns, shapes of nature such as plants, animal and inanimate objects such as the sun and the stars are frequently incorporated into Islamic carving. The fauna motif, however, the less used compared to the others as it contradicts the law of Islam. Overall, in the Malay world, the concept of Tahwid in wood carving is signified as a strong appreciation for unity and harmony in design, and it is straight associated with Islamic art and culture. It shows the Malay people's rich artistic legacy and their dedication to making visually gorgeous and spiritually profound wood carving and craftsmanship and skills. There are many key elements of the Malay wood carving, such as geometric patterns. Geometric patterns are a common element in Malay wood carving, and they play a significant role in achieving Tahwid. These patterns are meticulously designed to create a sense of balance and unity. They often include motifs like stars, arabesques, and calligraphy, and these patterns can be repeated to create intricate and interconnected designs. Next, the second one is calligraphy. Arabic calligraphy is often incorporated into Malay wood carving. The use of calligraphy can convey religious message or verse from the Quran. The way calligraphy is integrated into the wood carving design is done with great care to ensure it blends seamlessly with the other elements, contributing to the concept of Tahwid. And the last thing is skill and craftsmanship. Achieving Tahwid in wood carving requires a high level of skills and craftsmanship. Traditional Malay wood carvers are high-trained and skilled artisans who understand the principle of design, balance and harmony. The meticulous attention to detail is crucial in creating beautiful and harmonious wood carving. So here is the example that I have researched. This is an example of a wood carved ornament in a traditional Malay house. The characteristics of Malay wood carving now mainly consist of design attributes such as various types of flowers, leaves, and design elements that are manifested into carving motif. These natural elements are used in a way to improve the overall design while it still maintains a sense of harmony with the other decorative elements. So the second picture is a decoration on the walls from the interior Masjid Jamek Datuk Kelana Petara, Seledan Negeri Sembilan. And the source is from Adibah Farhani. And the second picture is the roof opening with geometric decoration allowing air ventilation at the same place. It shows the use of geometric carved ornament in an old mosque in Negeri Sembilan. These designs are not only pleasing to the eye, but it also acts as a daylight filter mechanism. This mechanism help in controlling the penetration of excessive sunlight, enable only a certain amount of light to enter the praying hall and keeping the thermal comfort of the place. And for the last one is my conclusions. The concept of Tahwid in Malay Islamic art has taught me many useful lessons that go beyond beauty and craftsmanship, providing insights that many elements of life and creativity. Geometric design and calligraphy has come a long way and has become our own identity and should be acknowledged as a heritage that should be protected and preserved. It would be a great loss if it failed to be recognized and heard by the younger generations. There are many things I had learned from the concept of Tahwid in Islamic art in the Malay world, such as unity and harmony, balance and symmetry, great attention to the details, skill of craftsmanship, and meaningful expressions. The idea of Tahwid brings peace as a true guideline to build the community or the perfect society via trust and stability. And that's all for me. Thank you so much for watching this.